Hello, welcome to Product for Product. It's Matt and Moshe here again, and we're continuing our series on feedback and road mapping. Today we're going to be talking about the software tool Productboard. Productboard is a tool that product managers use to develop roadmaps. And we're fortunate enough to have Andrea Stubbe today. She's going to talk about her experience with Productboard and a little bit about her experience in product. Andrea, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Andrea Stubbe. I'm the head of product at commercetools in Berlin, Germany.
Hi, Andrea.
Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Yeah, Andrea, welcome. So tell us a bit more about commercetools and what you guys are doing.
So as the name says, commercetools, we're making commerce software. So it's a commerce platform that then other businesses use to build their online stores or whatever commerce they do.
So is it like European mainly? Because here I'm familiar with Shopify. Is it something similar to that?
A little bit, even though targeted more to the enterprise segment. And one thing very special is that we are strictly API first.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. That's actually interesting, API first, but you do have also front ends that you develop?
We do have business user tooling, but we do not have a storefront.
Oh, okay. The reason I'm saying it's interesting is because we have different type of product managers on the show on any given time, and API first or mainly backend platforms are kind of a different beast, I think, that requires different tools or different type of products to manage those products. So that's also an interesting, another interesting point of view for us. Yeah. So today we're talking about Productboard, which is one of those products for feedback and road mapping. And we want to hear more from you, about it, about its usage, etc. But one thing that we did learn recently in the previous episode was that maybe feedback might not be the exact right title for this. Maybe it's ideas, maybe it's something else. So can you explain to us a bit about this functionality in Productboard where people can give you ideas for new features, and how do you manage that and make it a useful tool to communicate these and also help you with your prioritization?
Yeah, so there's two big things actually. So one thing is it's called Insights, and that is it's a moderated feedback giving and insights giving mechanism basically. So everybody within the company, mainly our customer facing teams, they leave us their raw input of customer wishes, customer feedback, everything else that they hear. And then within the product management team, what we do is we extract insights out of that, because not all of the raw data that we're given to work with is actually meaningful and something that we can use. So you get the note, you extract the insights, and you associate them with different parts and areas of your product. That's one thing. And then the other thing that it can do is people can also submit their own ideas, but we're not using that functionality.
Okay. So the functionality that you do use, that they give you those notes, this is inside Productboard? Oh, okay. So there is still a one system that provides this ability for them to write to you any type of notes about different things related to the product, related to the client, I assume. And then from that, you extract those insights. But you were saying also that they have a module for product ideas that you're not using?
Yes, exactly. It's like random people. We can even open it up for customers, but we also don't do that. And you can just submit ideas and then people can vote on them or something. But we have enough ideas already. So.
Oh, I see. so this is the one that is more external facing that you're not using, but you're using the internal facing.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I'm understanding. I see. Okay, yeah. So it's probably same idea, just different terminology that I guess Productboard is using for that. And just by the way, how big is the company, commercetools? How many people are you're using this?
We're roughly 300, and I think people that are actively submitting insights, that's mainly like pre-sales, customer success, support teams. Those would be approximately 50.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The reason I'm asking is also because we were debating in the previous episode whether startups are really going to use these type of products or not. And because usually they're either much more like flexible in what they do, they have less tooling, or they don't have enough clients that will give them these ideas. So that could be also an aspect of that as well. But what we're seeing so far is, I think similar to that was the size of the previous guest that we have for.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. So can you just explain a bit more about how Productboard structure this type of information, and how do you use it for your decision making about which of those ideas you're going to use?
So for the structuring of the insights, it comes with a couple of predefined fields, and you can also add your own custom ones. The most important one that we're using is the customer, so that we know who actually gave us that input in that feedback. Another field is the one that we set then when we associate it to whatever part of the product belongs to, like orders or checkout or cards or something. And the importance, of course. So how important is this input or this feature for the specific customer?
The reason you are using the customer in there is because these are customized features for them, or is it because you just want to be able to know who requested it and get back to them with questions and discovery, and later on when you implement it also to tell them, oh, we've done that?
Yeah, so we don't build custom features for anyone. We use it mainly so that we can get back in case we have questions. And we also use it to be able to cluster like similar customers together. Or for example, like if you see this is a B2B customer versus a B2C customer, that's relevant information.
Oh, I see. So some type of segmentation over there.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay. And going back to, making those decisions and about prioritization, etc. How do you do that with a tool? Because there could be a lot of different prioritization reasons why something is prioritized over something else. And do you use only this information, or is there on top of that other type of information that you use?
We use more. So, and that's also supported by Productboard. So one thing that they have is that you can collect the weighted input from different customers, and it just adds that up to a score. So you have like the user score for any given feature that we have in the list. And then parallel to that, you can define your key drivers for the year or the quarter or whatever sequence you use. And you can also weight that. So for example, you have a feature which is fixed price discounts. And you can see this fits into our main driver this year is to make progress on our product vision. And it contributes like 5 to that. It's a scale from 1 to 5 for all of those. And we usually prioritize by that, just like how much does it contribute to our drivers. And we use the user score, which is like the weighted input from customers, to inform the driver score, basically. So if you have like all of our customers asking for fixed price discounts, then this does get a higher weight than something else.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that sounds really interesting, because what you're saying, and I hope I got it right, is that there is the ability to provide what will be your outcomes that you're trying to do. And then based on those outcomes that you can change and modify as time goes by, you can also associate the inputs from those insights from the users from the users, but through the business stakeholders that are giving you this feedback, to actually request the features with specific outcomes that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's actually really important, I believe. So it's really good to hear that Productboard is doing that. Mainly because, again, if we are having this out of context from anything else we're trying to do, then there isn't really a lot of value in that. So
exactly,
when they put everything in the same context, that's
yeah,
really
exactly. Like, and if you have just because you have 100 customers asking for it, if it's completely off vision, then we still don't want to do it.
Yes, great point.
Yeah. So it's both the vision and the specific outcomes you have at that time, because that could be a bit different, right? Vision could be a longer term, where strategy and goals could be a shorter term.
Yeah, it all sort of ties together. So we have like the high level vision, and then from that we determine like what do we want to achieve within the year or within the quarter, and that's how it all belongs together then.
So everything within the product. Cool. Now let's take it to the roadmap part. How does it all tie into roadmaps, and how do you use it at your company?
Yeah, so in Productboard, what you have is like you have a either flat or hierarchical view of your product, And you can just have the different features or ideas that you have. And then what we do when we do our quarterly planning, basically we assigned all of the weights for all of the drivers that we have. And you can just sort by which one wins. So you have, it contributes 3 points to this one driver and 2 points to the other driver. So it's a total of 5 or something. And then we typically just pick from the top of the list, obviously taking into account capacity and how much a team can still take on. And then all you have to do in Productboard is assign a release to them. And then that generates your roadmap.
Oh, okay. When you send assign a release, this is based on like a predefined release stages that you have, like based on your sprints or something like that?
So you can define the releases in Productboard. And what we did is we just have quarters as releases.
Oh, quarters.
Yes.
Oh, so you're releasing quarterly.
We release continuously, but what we use as a, when communicating with customers and all of that, we always have our quarterly roadmap and you can say, hey, this is what you planned for the quarter.
Oh, I see.
You can see it. And
I see. Yeah. So is it also integrated with your, I don't know if you're using Jira or another system for your board and
backlog and stuff like that, epics and
theoretically, but it's not compatible with the Jira version we're using. So not. That's a tad annoying because normally what you could do is you could just have the feature in Productboard and then map that to an epic in Jira.
Right.
And then it syncs back and forth.
Okay.
But we can't use that. So we manually copy links.
So they don't have an integration between the two systems?
We are not using the cloud version of Jira and it's not integrated with the on-prem version.
Oh, with the cloud version, they're not using. Huh.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I would think that if any of the versions that would use will be the cloud one, but maybe.
Oh, no, sorry. They integrate with the cloud version, but that's not the one that we're using.
Oh, you're not using the cloud one.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see. You have the hosted one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so you're saying they do have the cloud one integrated.
Yeah.
Do you know if they have integration with other systems like Azure DevOps or?
They have a couple of other integrations. The one that I wanted to look in next is they also have a Salesforce integration, which is super great if you think about segmenting your customers. Yep. So you can basically just import all of the companies that you have in Salesforce into Productboard and then have all of that done. But I didn't do that yet. But
so right now you have to create them manually inside Productboard?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because the integration didn't exist when I set it up.
I see. That does sound very useful. Is it a bidirectional integration? So you can also pass information to Salesforce through, from whatever was added to. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't even know what I'm saying here, but from whatever added to Productboard from that specific client, and then if there is any communication done with them and stuff like that, it will go back to Salesforce.
I honestly don't know. Haven't looked into it in detail yet.
Yeah, that will be interesting to look at, and I think most everyone these days are using Salesforce in some capacity. So that's where it's almost like everyone would like to know, what this type of integration is doing.
Absolutely.
So you're saying that because Jira is not the version you're using is not supported, you have to do it manually, and it's a bit annoying.
Is there anything else that you find about it that you wish was better, or would improve?
Minor things, but I generally really like it. It's super flexible, so whatever you want to do, you can get it done.
Well, great.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more about that. What does it mean to you, super flexible? And that's interesting to hear.
So it has brilliant filtering capabilities. So you can, like, for every single feature, for example, you can say, give me the feature list, but filter it by customers that ask for it, which is heavily used by our customer success team. So they go in a customer call and just filter it down by what is relevant for them. And you can do the same with the roadmap view. So that's one thing. And then you can save all of those views and then share them with others. And that's something that we do a lot. So we have, you create your roadmap by assigning the releases, and you just save this is the Q2 roadmap view. And then one thing that we're doing, which is a hack, but it does the trick for us. Sometimes things take longer than a quarter. And we were thinking about how can we make it visible on our roadmap that this is something where we will start our research phase in this quarter, but we will not deliver anything. And what we're doing here is we're using releases as well. So we create releases for the quarters, and we created releases for how far will we get. So we have research, work in progress, going into beta, being available. And then we created a view, which is then having as headlines, it has the stages where it will be in at the end of the quarter. And that gives like perfect visibility to everybody who wants to know, what can I expect as part of that? And it's just...
I see. And who do you share those roadmap with? Is it only internally, or you also share them externally?
We share them internally, and they are screen shared externally.
Oh, okay. Now, what is your experience with that? Because, my experience in the past, and I've been in developing products for many, many years. So in the past, salespeople always wanted to share those roadmaps, and then we had to, especially that they were time-based, and like you have quarters in yours, but we had it. Well, it was almost like a Gantt chart, right? And people expect us to release on those days, and it wasn't always working because developing software is a complex thing. So there was a lot of unknowns, etc. So what is your experience there with sharing it? Even if they do a screen share, people can capture it and can try to catch you with your words later and say, oh, you said it's going to be available at that time, and etc.
Yeah, so we're a little more careful when it comes before sales, but once they are a customer, we share that freely. We also do have pretty awesome customers. They don't do that, but you promised thing.
Oh, okay. So that's important to have for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe I wasn't that lucky with my experience in the past, but.
No, and the other thing that helps is that we're very transparent about, we don't just put that feature there, but we put how far do we plan to get. And then we also put a lot of work into being reliable on our roadmaps, because it just simplifies customer communication so much.
For sure. And what level are you going into? How deep is it exactly? You mentioned that it's quarterly releases, but do you go in the level of actual how it will work, or specific features within an epic, or you just go the epic level?
We just have the epic level in Productboard, and then everything else we can put into the description field. And then you can put everything you want, like links to screenshots or whatever.
And do you know if people consume that information? Do they look at that?
That's a very good question. Not as much as I'd wished for, because we put a lot of efforts into writing all of those descriptions. But
definitely, it's
still faster to just ping your product manager of choice and ask.
Yeah, I think Matt's next question probably would be about data analytics, because he loves to ask about this. So I will let you ask that question.
I always ask about the data and analytics of any tool that we've come across, and Productboard is no different. We all know how important data is in product development and product management. So I'm wondering if Productboard allows you to leverage data. Does it deliver insights? Does it deliver any sort of analytics, dashboarding, anything like that?
Like these insights about who is actually reading and consuming this information.
Usage.
No, there's nothing about that.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. So hopefully the people at Productboard are going to listen to this, and they will see. Okay, maybe there is.
They are.
Yeah, maybe there is an opportunity there for an idea here to actually provide you with the information, and people like you, information about who is actually consuming this roadmap, what are they looking at, and the information that you put a lot of time in putting there. Right?
That would certainly help you out, because then you would understand, are they using it? How can I make that better? Do I need to continue doing that? So that would be a really nice feature.
Sure. Yeah, I think especially for bigger companies, it would be brilliant. Right now, it's still manageable. I know all the people that are submitting feedback, so I can see who I know has customer contact, and they had a call and they didn't submit anything. It's like, hey, how about? So it's like manual analytics. That's still okay.
Right. So you're saying both on the perspective of how they consume it, meaning did they read what you put in there? Did you actually look in that information? But also about who actually on the specific calls that they probably had some insights and some notes and some feedback. Might be useful for you to know that they used it or not, and whether they gave you that feedback or not. Cool. Now, one of the questions that came up in our mind when we started this series was about outcome-driven roadmaps. And it does sound like you do have outcome-driven roadmaps based on what we discussed earlier. But one of the ways you can also present a roadmap is by the outcome versus by the features. Meaning, this is the outcome we're trying to do. This is where we will get in, next month or the month after or whatever. And in the notes or in the description, you will explain how you will try to get there.
Yes.
Is that something you're doing?
This is something I want to do, but it's kind of hard to change things when it comes to that, because internally as well as also when we talk with customers, everybody's just so used to talk about features.
Yes.
I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense, because in the end, what matters is, did we solve your problem and not do we have this feature?
Yes.
So I think it would make way more sense, but I don't think the world's ready for it.
And I think this will be a theme going throughout this series and maybe others as well, because I feel that there is you're absolutely right, that exactly what you said, that the world is not ready for that. And it's really our job to kind of educate them and
advocate for it.
Advocate for it and make them ready. And when I'm saying our job, I don't mean necessarily, this podcast, but everyone in product working in different places. But I know it's definitely not an easy thing, because people still think in projects rather than product. So project-led is quite strong. And there are many feature factories out there that don't even know what outcome mean. Yep. It's more about
it's hard to quantify. You can quantify a feature because, I delivered X amount of features in this time period.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's actually easier to quantify, because you can look at the business and how the business is doing.
Sure. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly. So it's just looking at the right thing rather than looking at the wrong thing. And it's part of it is a culture thing in organization everywhere around the world. I don't think that it's different. I don't think I've seen it yet different in different locations. There is a lot of advocacy about it from different product people, but it's still something that has to be changed all around.
You can sort of combine it. Internally we do work like that, and we do think like that. Like, we think about problems that need solving. It's just the way how we talk about them is by using features in a way.
Yeah. So maybe that is something to definitely try changing the way we talk, and the tools we're using can help us with that. But I think because they're so flexible, these tools, it's very easy to go the route everyone is familiar with.
Yeah, but there's also one of the nice things about Productboard is so when I started setting everything up, I had a call with one of their customer success people, and they were like, "Hey, how do you want to model everything in Productboard? Do you want to have a product hierarchy with areas and features and stuff? Do you want to model it using jobs to be done? Do you want to model it like this, like that?" And they have little getting started guides for how you can make it fit your current model.
I see. Did they recommend a specific model, or they were flexible to the way you like to work?
No, they didn't recommend anything. They were really good listeners, and then trying to understand.
Good. That's one of the questions we have. Yeah, that's awesome. That's one of the questions we have. How is the relationship with that tool, customer service, customer success team? So it sounds like you had a good experience. Yeah,
very, very good. Yes.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Were you? It sounds like you were on the decision end of getting Productboard, right? And any reason why you chose them over other products?
I sort of was forced to use AHA in my previous company, and I just really didn't understand it, which is probably not the product's fault. I just didn't get it. So I was looking for something that's easier. And basically I was just looking for a tool that I can use to have a central place to collect all of the customer input and feedback, because it was scattered in emails and spreadsheets and Slack messages and paper. So it was a mess. So I was basically that's how I started the research, looking for something that solves that problem.
Okay.
And honestly, I just tried out this one and it was great. So I was like, just take it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm trying to remember from our last conversation. I think AHA was something, it may have had a level of complication to it when it came to onboarding and getting used to it. So
yes, I believe Abhinav told us that that's the main thing that is complex over there. And it's interesting to hear that you used it in the past and you decided it wasn't the right product for you. There is also a level of, just a personal thing about getting connected with the product. That's for sure.
Mhm.
And I've seen that happening with other products and other people. So not everyone is a good fit for every product, and as simple as that, right? And I don't know. I mean, we are actually talking now with more people across the world. You're from Germany. Abhinav was from India, and I'm sure these companies have support all over. They're quite spread out all over the place. And as you mentioned, you had good experience with them on the onboarding, which is really good.
Yeah, they really guide and help, and they
Mhm.
offer onboarding sessions for everyone in the company, and it's great.
But the main drive for you to go in the first place and choose a product was the ability to collect the data in one place and organize it. And was the road mapping like a second drive after that?
Yeah, it was really more like, hey, now I have the product, I might as well use it.
For sure.
And then I started using it and I wouldn't want to miss it. It's just so much nicer to build your product in there than having to use anything else, really. Like, especially if you have a pretty broad and big product and a lot of input that you have to handle, the complexity of doing that, and you have like those drivers and you weight them, and so you have like this mini formula, and it's just getting impossible to do that without support for tooling.
Yeah, that makes sense. And hopefully maybe one day you guys will move to the Jira cloud, so that will be easier for you.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be a drive for you to move to next, right? So that will be cool.
Reduce the complexity, automate some of the procedures you have, processes and improvements.
Yeah,
for sure. Any other questions or anything else you wanted to share with us about Productboard?
Pretty broad question. Not spontaneous. Oh yeah, maybe one thing. So one thing that I also quite like is how that it really allows to work with the methodology that you have. Like, it supports different prioritization technologies. You can put stuff on a metrics and pull things around. You can track efforts or estimates and make them part of your formula, how you prioritize things. It's nothing that we do, but you can do like whatever you want to do. And it just works for that. Yeah.
Are these where these efforts are coming from? You enter them manually?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess if you have the Jira integration, it's taken from there. But
yeah, that's one of those things I was thinking about. Exactly. Is there anything you don't like about Productboard?
No.
Oh, that's good to hear.
No, I really
good.
It's really one of my favorite products. It's great.
Very nice. Because this is your opportunity to mention something that you might want them to fix, right?
Yep.
No, they also they have a Slack group that you're invited to.
Oh, good.
So whenever you have something to complain about or an idea, you can also write them.
Go right there.
And they answer. Yes.
Very nice. Very nice.
Is it integrated with Productboard, their own?
No, it's just Slack, which everybody has open all the time anyway. So.
I see.
I even prefer that because I don't have Productboard open all the time, right?
But maybe on their end, it is somehow integrated, so they can get those insights directly from.
Yes. That's true. There is a Slack integration, so you can directly push like your favorite salesperson sends you a Slack message, which is actually feature insights, and you just like from Slack can push it to Productboard. Yeah. And one other neat thing is there's a Chrome plugin, so you can mark text on any site, for example, in your Google Mail. And you can push it directly to Productboard.
Oh, I see. That is neat. That sounds neat.
Yes, because like every tool is running in your browser, right? So it just integrates with everything.
So so we're talking about the the things that kind of like expected from these type of systems, like integration with Jira type of system, integration with Slack, Salesforce. But it's also cool to learn about this type of special features that maybe other products don't do. Maybe they do. I mean, everyone has to go and check them. But this one sounds like an interesting feature that can make your life much easier.
Looking back, this was one of the reasons why I chose them, because I wanted to, you have to make the entire company adjust to the new way of leaving feedback. So I wanted to make it as simple as possible.
I see. So that's a good reason to do that for sure. And do you feel it was successful?
Yes.
So people use
Absolutely.
that, and
yes, people use it.
Yeah, and really implementing a system in an organization is probably much harder than a lot of people think. Even the best product in the world, if people don't use it, is just a failure. So
I mean, it requires, especially in the beginning, constant reminders and slight nagging.
For sure.
But once it works, it works.
I've been many times on the other end of it, of a product manager or a product person or developer in a product company that build these great products and thought everyone that will buy it will also use it. But then you see the adoption is not always that great, or is not what you expect it to be. So adopting a product is definitely something that a lot of us like to talk about as well. Matt, do you have any other questions for Andrea?
No, Andrea covered it all. I think this has been really helpful. It's obviously delivering a lot of value, and this has been a great chat, because my experience with Productboard was really, they have a lot of good content on their site. So I appreciate you taking the time to giving us a peek into the tool and how it's making your life better. So thank you for joining the show. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Do you know if they have like a free demo version or a free?
I think they have a free community edition even.
So for all our listeners, if you're interested, by all means, go and check them out.
Andrea, is there anywhere people can reach you best if they want to learn more about you or Productboard in general?
LinkedIn, I guess.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today, and
thanks for having me.
Telling us more about Productboard. So it's a pleasure.
Yep, absolutely. Until next time, this is Matt Moshe signing off. You take care, everybody.